To the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the defining moments that shape extraordinary people into who they have become. Today's guest is Teddy Bloom, an engineering technician from Santa Fe, New Mexico, avid athlete, cyclic, and the man behind the Ride4Rights, a cross-country bike protest from the Golden Bridge in San Francisco to the Washington Monuments in Washington, D.C. He took the money he has saved to buy his first home and spent it on his ride instead. He has pushed through hail in Syria, Navidas, a dust storm in Navidas, 50 mile per hour wind gust in Kansas, 104-degree heat, falling streets in Indiana, multiple flat tires, broken equipment and injuries, and cycle over 3,700 miles because he believed American has a responsibility to treat each other with respect. It's a real pleasure and honor having you on the show, Teddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. So Teddy, before the ride, before any of this, who were you and what kind of person grew up in Cleveland or Ohio, and become the kind of man who spent his house deposits on cross-country bike protests?
So I grew up in the Midwest in America in Cleveland, Ohio. And I went to college, got an engineering degree as a civil engineer near Chicago at a school called Valparaiso University, and came back to Cleveland when the economy wasn't so good around 2010. And I worked there for about 6 years, and it wasn't really working for me. So I decided, I should go somewhere else. So I actually went on vacation out in New Mexico to Santa Fe once, and I was like, I like it here. I could go out here. And yeah, I packed up all my stuff in my car back in 2000, moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it's been nice. I started doing a more outdoor lifestyle. I'm in the Rocky Mountains, so I started mountain biking a lot more, and that's when I really got more into biking. I was always into athletics. Back when I was in Ohio, I would do triathlons quite a bit. I did the Ironman triathlons when I was in my early 20s, which is a 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and a marathon run. I was never winning those or very good. I was the
Yeah.
guy coming in late at night, hobbling, and I was just happy to finish and stuff. So, but yeah, I moved out to the Southwest and kind of started over in Santa Fe. And I was not a very political guy. I really didn't vote all the time and stuff like that. But when the current administration got elected, we had some rough times the first time he was elected here, mainly because one of the things there was a lot of talk about immigrants and deportation. And during the 2016 to 2020, there was a lot of people getting deported, but no one was checking at home to see if there was any kids around. So there was all these orphan children around. So I knew the second time, basically, that Trump got elected, this would get a lot worse, and it has. So it was basically, I kind of said, like, this is going to be a very important time in history here. There's a lot going on. I feel like if I didn't act or didn't do something or didn't try to make the situation better, I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror. So yeah, I did. I'm not a guy that gets really angry or a guy that's going to stand up there and yell or get real emotional, but it's like, what, I can do something different. And I chose to ride a bike across the country and to protest for pro democracy. The bike ride itself was, I called it Ride4Rights with the number four. And the four rights were free speech, justice,
Mm.
education, and unity. And those are the concepts that you need to keep a democracy functioning. You need free speech to express your needs and wants to the government. You need justice to protect your free speech. You need education so actually what's happening around you and what will actually benefit you and fix the issues that you're having. And you need unity, which is more of a feeling. So that's more of like when you promote something, it should be for yourself or for other people. It shouldn't just be to screw over other people, which you're kind of seeing nowadays. So I came up with that. I started thinking about it in March of 2025, and I was out the door April 20th of 2025, and it took me till August 18th, I believe. And yeah, it was a crazy trip. Went from San Francisco on the West Coast to Washington, D.C. on the East Coast, solo on a bicycle. So,
Yeah.
yeah, wild.
Wow, a whole lot of things indeed. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So your interest in cycling began young when you became infatuated with the Tour de France. What was it about that race and that particular combination of physical suffering and human determination that got you as a kid?
Yeah, I always loved racing. So I used to do distance running in high school and middle school, and I would watch, auto racing too, and was really into it. And then, the Tour de France was on TV because at the time, Lance Armstrong was big, so they were actually showing it in America before they would never even show it. And, I remember the concept of like, oh, well, each time counts every day. And then you had the whole for people that know cycling, there's a whole, like, strategic element based on, like, how much you're gonna be in the wind and drafting with your teammates and all that, and I was just fascinated by it. And, yeah, so I got into watching professional cycling, and then I started doing it myself, and that's kinda how I got into it, and, it's my favorite sport, I guess, obviously, and it's been something that's, been a part of my life since then, I would
Yeah,
say.
amazing. And
So
also, you competed in Ironman triathlon in your early 20s. What did that experience teach you about what your body and mind can endure, and how did it shape the way you approach difficulty?
it's something that when you complete it, you feel amazing because it's something incredibly hard in the first place, and it's not something that takes a day, it's something that you've trained for months and months and months. So, most of the spring and the summer, I'd be in the pool, riding around, jogging or something like that to get ready for the race, and when you finish it, you get an incredible sense of accomplishment too. And for me in my early 20s, it was a good confidence booster of like, when you're that age, you're kind of discovering who you are and what's going on, and you're trying to just get a hold of yourself in general. And yeah, trying something very difficult and being successful at it was good. I attempted 4 Ironmans total. I've completed 2, so it was definitely not a
Yeah,
given that I would finish. But yeah, it was a cool thing. I stopped doing it mainly because it was taking all of my time essentially like that. And once I completed a few, it was definitely one of those kind of been there, done that essentially. But yeah, it was a cool thing to always say I accomplished, and it was an interesting community to be a part of, and certainly very challenging from the endurance side of it as well.
yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, the fact that yeah, it's more like an ego posters in your 20s where you're just trying to figure out yourself and being good at something and being able to see to the end really add a whole lot. So you work as an engineering technician for the New Mexico Department of Transportation. That is a grounded, practical profession. What does a man in the roles see happening in the country around him that eventually become impossible to ignore?
Well, I think what I do like about working, for the Department of Transportation is before that I was just working for private firms and, making some person money that I never met essentially. So at least now I work for the public. So there's a lot of more rewarding stuff I would say there. And, I think it leads to you do have some responsibility to like take care of the public. So I do inspections for bridges and I make sure that, they're safe to cross and stuff like that. And that's certainly more rewarding, and I think, that does lead to somewhat of my personality of, like, I do think I have a
Yeah,
responsibility to, help something, and I feel better about what I'm doing if I'm doing something more rewarding than just, collecting a
yeah.
paycheck and going home,
Yeah,
so,
amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you for sharing. So you took the money you had saved to buy your first home and put it into this ride. That is not a casual decision. What was the moment you made that choice, and what did it feel like to make it?
It was tough, but I knew like, I've always had a mentality of, like, if you're going to try something, do it all the
Mm,
way, and like I said, from what we talked about earlier about this administration is, like, I knew this was gonna be a really important time in history, and I wanted to do something early, and try to get ahead of it, and I wanted to do something effective, and I'm really happy I did it. I think it was a good decision. It was a trip that was just unforgettable for me, and I think it really helped me understand the country
mm,
better, and I really was able to talk to a lot of people and get, like, a grip of what I think was happening around. Yeah, I don't regret it. I'm very
mm,
happy about it, and the decision was not as hard as I think people think it was. I
yeah.
really it was something once I decided I wanted to do it, I was gonna do it. So
Once you get to decide you're going to do it, yeah, it was much easier. So you are pushed through our hills, our dust storm, 50 miles per hour wind, extreme heat, falling trees, injuries, and broken equipment across more than 3,700 miles. What does that kind of sustained physical and mental challenge reveal about a person? And what did it reveal about you specifically?
The challenge was I didn't really know if I'd make it all the
Yeah.
way. I gave myself, like, a 50 shot to get to Denver, which is about the halfway point. But the sport I was doing is called bike packing, which is you put all your gear on your bike and you ride with it, and that's it. So there you have a couple bags in the back on a rack. I had a tent on there too. On the front of the bike, I had another bag and then a sleeping pad, and then I had a frame bag in the middle to carry. I did the whole thing on YouTube, so there was computer equipment as well as camping equipment, as well as obviously extra clothes and cycling repair equipment as well. and stuff like that, and it adds a lot of weight to the
Yeah.
bike, so it's a lot harder to cycle itself, but I learned this on the fly. I really didn't know anything about the sport when I started looking into it. I bought all the equipment. I tried to get what I could used from friends. People were really nice, honestly. One story I like to tell is one of my buddies, he had a new girlfriend, so we were going to go meet her. We went out to dinner, we met his new girlfriend, and like 15 minutes after she met me, she offered me her tent. So she gave me her tent, which
Yeah.
was really nice. And on the ride, people were like super helpful that didn't know me all across the country. People would, because like once you get to a town, you're kind of stuck there. So some people would drive me to the pharmacy to pick up stuff. I had people like wait and watch my stuff while I could go in and get supplies because that was a big thing throughout the whole trip. So yeah, there was a lot of great experiences with people overall. As far as like the trip itself was, I knew it would be challenging going in, and then me not really knowing much about bike packing and like mapping
Yeah.
where I was going to, because I obviously I don't know the whole country. I knew some of the areas I was going to, but that turned out to be kind of a nightmare. But yeah, it was just my buddy told me, my other friend, he's like, dude, it doesn't matter anything, just keep going. And that's what I did. I just,
Yeah.
kept going. If I was injured, if I was sick, sometimes I'd take a day off, but it was just, get into the headspace where you're not gonna question if you're gonna get out and ride the next or then ride again,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
Keep going. Yeah. Thank you. So you invited other riders out to join you at the state capitals and
Mhm.
key locations along the route. Um, what was it like when people show up, and what did those moments of unexpected connections tells you about Americans once beneath the division?
It really helped me. Finally, I got people to show up. So the one thing I did really struggle with on the tour was I was promoting this as like a riding protest too, and I had no experience organizing
Yeah.
any kind of like activities for this. So I was trying different things on social media, and finally, towards the end of the trip, I was getting people to show up. And that was really nice. People would come and we would get small groups and stuff. And what I would do for your audience is, I would have long rides, which anybody could join me in. A couple people did on the regular days, but in big cities, I would do these short rides where you didn't have to be a good cyclist. It would be like a few miles or something like that. You could bring your kids and stuff like that. So yeah, no, so I got to talk to people, and people were very supportive and stuff like that too. But what I saw around the country is a lot of people were not happy about what was going on, but a lot of people weren't willing to do much
Mm.
about it. So this ride became a lot about just getting people out and trying to get people motivated to speak out and be active in the political climate, honestly.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. So looking back at the decision
Yeah.
to spend your house deposit on a bicycle ride across America, what are you most grateful about? About for the choice because of the person, the citizen, and the advocate it has made you.
I'm really grateful about some of the knowledge that this brought me overall. As a personal accomplishment, just making it across was phenomenal, and I had a lot of good luck too, and a lot of people. I said it in my last video because I was posting everything on YouTube. Like it was a solo trip across the country, but I wasn't alone. Like I had a lot of people help me, family, friends, people I didn't know, and stuff like that. As far as like what I gained knowledge wise is. Uh, was very positive based on, again, the people I met. Like, you have this image that is projected in media of, like, there's the right and the left, and it's very split apart, but in reality, it's much more of a salad. There's people on all spectrums of the political scope, there's people that believe all different things, and there a lot of the rage you see in the media is completely made up and fake, to be honest. I think it is doing a lot to try to split up the country, and one of the things I've tried to keep saying is what became obvious on my ride throughout. If you're in America and you're a very conservative person, you're getting a lot of information that makes you wanna feel fear. Whereas if you're a very liberal person in America, you're getting a lot of information that makes you feel anger, and that's kinda what they're doing to try to split up the country. So, a lot of people think the manipulation in the news is about misinformation, and there certainly is some of that, but a lot of the manipulation is manipulating your feelings more than it's manipulating what you
Mm.
know, and that causes you to have an emotional response and not think rationally. So, it was upsetting to see how much the media is affected by that, but it was encouraging to actually meet people, in real life and talk to people, about how they felt about things and what was going on.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, Right for Right is built around four pillars, which is free speech, equal justice under the law, education about how government functions, and unity across the diversity community. Why this fall, and what connect them as a single coherent message?
The message has always been, and the single message is what I wanted to protect, is save
Mm,
democracy. So again, those 4 rights are the ones kind of we talked about earlier. Is like you need those rights to keep democracy
mm,
going. And I honestly believe like there's a lot of different stuff going on. If the U.S. stays as a democratic system with these 4 elements, it'll work out all right. Essentially. So that was kind of the message. I wanted something that wasn't something that was easy to understand and get behind for everybody of like, this is the United States principles. This was what the whole country was built on, and this has honestly served the United States well. There's a reason the country's the richest country in the world. So it's worked out for people. People have had a lot of opportunities here, and I would like to keep that going. So
yeah, amazing. Thank you all for sharing, and thank you for coming up with these 4 pillars and sharpening a whole lot of lovely stuff. Yeah. So you believe that our difference of opinion should make us stronger in a moment when that idea feel almost radical. What gave you the conviction to hold on onto it, and what did you see on the ride that reinforced it?
I think what really kept me going on the ride is I did really believe in the cause and believe that it was going to help people in the long run. And that kept me going through a lot of really hard days. Like I think you kind of told a little bit at the beginning, like I got
Yeah.
injured early on in California. So I ended up getting over the Sierra Nevadas with my injured hamstring. So I took 4 days off in a small town called Fallon. Then they had a pool. Luckily they had like a city pool. So I was able to like work out in a pool to like try to get my hamstring better. I had a 104-degree day in Kansas where I got pretty sick, and there was it was a 30-mile-an-hour headwind with
Mm,
50-mile-an-hour gust. It was brutal. There was a lot of other just really tough days where and even some days you just wake up and you're just not feeling great. And I'm in my late 30s, like, you just wake up and your body's just not having the
yeah.
best days. It was like, "Oh, this ride shouldn't have been tough," but it was today. But there was a lot of beautiful days too, like going over the Vail Pass of the Rocky Mountains, the Gap Trail, which is gorgeous bike trail through the Appalachian Mountains was great too, and there were some really, really cool days, but it is a very grinding experience. It took me nearly 4 months, and a lot of the challenge of it you're gonna have hard days and easy days, but you're just out there a long time, like, you're away from home. I definitely got homesick throughout the experience, and at the end, you're just like, "Oh my god, I
Yeah.
gotta get done, I gotta get done." But it's very challenging, and I don't think if I had honestly, the Ride4Rights aspect of it that I would have been able to finish, but I did believe in the cause, and that helped me
Yeah,
through.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, lastly, Teddy, what legacy do you hope this ride leave? Especially for the Americans who are watching from the sideline, feeling powerless and wondering whether one person doing something difficult and public can actually matter.
Yeah. It what one of the propaganda things that I was really trying to go against throughout the ride and kind of what it I feel like it became about a lot is you need to get out and protest and you need to get out in person. It's not good enough to sit behind the keyboard and type. You need to show numbers. It's very important and it does have an effect. There's a ton of stuff out there right now that's telling people that it doesn't matter, it's not important. It does matter. Like they do care quite a bit for protests and it will change things if there's consistent protests and people are being vocal essentially like that. You need to be seen, you need to be out, and you need to be vocal. And I think that's the enduring message. Like you as a person are not kind of just along for the ride, chained to whatever the decisions that the people at the top are made. You have agency in life and you need to use it if you want to make your life better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the
Yeah,
message.
amazing. Thank you so much, Teddy. So, Teddy, from our audience who would love to kind of reach out, either to watch some of your couples of videos on YouTube or more like to connect with you on various social media, how can they reach out and where is the best platform?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube. It's Ride4Rights with the number 4. That's where I do most of my stuff. I'm currently working on a video series about how to properly immigrate to the US because I found out that nobody actually knows how to do that on when I was on my ride. So it's a little going to be an educational series. It has taken a while, but it is going to come out soon. I have a website, ride4rights.com, and then I'm on Instagram, Blue Sky, Reddit, and Threads. If you wanna follow me, that would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you so much for such a grounded, courageous, and a genuine inspire conversations. Yeah, the journey just reminds us that protest does not have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes it is a person on a bike paddling through hills and wind and heat, refusing to stop because they believe the country they love is worth fighting for. from Cleveland to Santa Fe to 3,700 miles across Americans. Your ride is a proof that one person with conviction and willingness to suffer for what they believe in can actually start a conversation that reach further than they ever knew. Yeah, it's really a pleasure and honor having you on the show, Teddy.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.